Right now, we have some folks who would like to speak with us, including our representative, Chris Morrow. Chris, you want to talk? Chris has to be first because he has a bunch of time.
Okay, good morning, everyone. I guarantee you've been having more fun the last couple of months than I have. Things are interesting up in Montpelier. I'll just say a couple of quick words and then just take questions. We only have a couple of minutes here. So we're obviously facing a lot of tough choices up there. The federal clawbacks and cuts and uncertainties are creating a lot of havoc at the state government level on both finances and just being able to operate the state government. The budget this year is very tight, and so a lot of things are being scrutinized very tightly, and a lot of things that have been funded in previous years are not going to get funded. The main topic, as you probably are well aware of, is education. I'm not on the education committee, but I'm staying abreast of what's going on, and we can discuss that further. Healthcare and the Agency of Transportation are two of the other big priorities in my mind. The healthcare crisis in the state continues. There is some good news on that front, in that we got $195 million from the federal government, and that's going to be directed mostly to primary care, telehealth, and other supports for our rural health system. So that is good news. Something to be aware of, it's getting a little press lately, is this Act 181, which happened in 2024 before I got up there, but that's the reform bill to Act 250. And so part of that, the whole state is getting mapped, every single property. It's going to be in one of 3 tiers. And how things get developed and permitted in the future are going to be determined on what tier you are in. I'm part of the Rural Caucus, and we're trying to slow this whole process down because there's some very real concerns, especially around tier 3, which is the more rural areas. The process is underway now. Nothing is set in stone, but this is the time to get involved if you have concerns about your property and where it's going to be mapped. The Weston Regional Commission is the place to go for information about that. And they are having a public forum on Tuesday the 17th at 6 p.m. You can probably zoom into that. But I'd encourage everyone to find out more about Act 181 mapping. And if you want more detail on what's happening in all the committees, I've put out a town meeting report, committee by committee, which you can get from my website. I also put a link on Front Porch Forum the last couple of days. My website is morrow4vt, the number 4.com, and you can get lots of detail there. And I will leave it there and open it up to questions until the moderator cuts me off. Any questions?
When's the state going to put a tax on electric? When's the state going to put a tax on electric cars mileage-wise? We have to subsidize to get a lot of them on the road. They're using our roads, but they're not paying like gasoline tax, and they wear the roads out as much as gasoline cars. But to my knowledge, they are not paying anything to support the highway system. And also, when is the state going to actually do something besides waste money on this education? They just keep throwing money and money away, and you know, they say federal grants here and there. Well, it's all our tax money, and they've been at it for years, and they haven't known it too much.
Well, the first one's easier. The Agency of Transportation is underfunded right now, and it's affecting our roads and our ability to maintain our roads. And one of the things they're doing, they being the Transportation Committee, is instituting a per mileage fee, so which will take obviously into account higher registration and other fees for electric vehicles to help take into account what you're talking about. The Agency of Transportation it's actually kind of a big concern because a lot of the money back in the days when they get most of their money from the gas tax. So between vehicles getting a lot more efficient over the decades and the migration to electric vehicles, that income has gone down a lot. Back in the day, they allocated some of that money to the education fund, and so part of what we're doing is pulling that money out of the education fund and giving it back to transportation to take care of our roads, which makes sense. But then that leaves the education fund, which we all know is severely challenged with less money. So the big thing in Montpelier is clearly education. The education committee is very divided, but in both the House and the Senate. The governor is pushing strongly for the implementation of Act 73, which we passed last year, which is forced consolidation. The task force that was charged with coming up with a map, which is the next step, said, well, actually that won't work, so we're not going to come up with a map. And they proposed voluntary consolidation and a shared services model. So it's really, right now, it's completely up in the air. If you have thoughts on it, let me know.
If you go to a mileage tax for everybody, will the gas tax be rescinded?
I doubt it. I don't know right now.
We get taxed double.
Well, depends on you want your roads taken care of or not. That's the transportation fund is broke right now. So
I know, but
it's,
paying double,
yeah.
I mean, it's just an inflationary for. Paying double is just inflationary. I mean, there's a lot of people that provide property services around, and they have to have trucks to plow driveways, plug the lawnmower trailers around and stuff. So if they're paying their gas tax and then paying the mileage tax on top of it, guess what? Up goes rates for your property services and everything else. So they ought to use a little common sense and say, hey, if we're going to tax your mileage, we forgive the gas tax.
I will pass that on. Another part of that equation is a lot of people that drive out of state, and you're going to be taxed, that includes the mileage fee.
You were just about to say something about vehicles registered in other states. How would they be taxed?
No, I was saying that Vermont vehicles that drive out of state, some people are concerned about that. If you're on the road a lot and it's a per mileage fee, and you're driving in other states, there's concerns about what you would be paying for those miles. There's a lot of tricky questions around this.
Yeah, the mileage tax, it drives me nuts because in the last we travel in the summertime. We pull a 35-foot fifth wheel. Last summer's trip was over 14,000 miles. And out of those 14,000 miles, we went from Vermont to New York and New York back to Vermont. That was the only mileage out of that 14,000. You telling me I'm going to get taxed on 14,000 miles that I drove in the rest of the country?
Yeah, well, that's one of the proposals in the transportation committee right now. There's really no easy answers to any of these things. There's a lot of trade-offs. That's where we're at. All the funny money from COVID's gone. The state is facing the same pressures we all are in terms of inflation, healthcare costs, construction costs. So this is it's just a matter of trade-offs that people in Montpelier are making, and all the easy answers have been used up. But please keep in touch.
I'm going to take the privilege of the moderator and ask you the last question. On the education issue, we hear and talk about money and funding and finance. We talk about administrative services, we talk about consolidation, in the hope that we can save on that. I don't hear anything about quality of education, which is a serious issue in the state. We're below Mississippi and Alabama in the quality of our students' education. What's going on?
There is talk in the committees about quality, but it's, it's kind of drowned out by the finances and consolidation and restructuring. I mean, part of the idea of consolidation and class size minimums was to increase opportunity for students. So that was a big part of the discussions last session. But it is a serious concern, and it's also concern of equity in the state. There are certain school districts that are severely underfunded and are performing very poorly. And so part of this whole scheme of Act 73 and the foundation formula is to develop equity across the state. You know, of course, back in the day, Act 60 was supposed to do this, but that hasn't materialized. But part of this reform is to balance education quality across the state, and it's not right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. One more pre-meeting activity. Deb Linus, where are you? Deb is our school board trustee. No, you used to be. No, she's a former trustee. And she is an announcement about the Rudolph Johnson.
Thank you. As many of you know, Rudolph Johnson was okay, that better? Rudolph Johnson was the principal of the Weston Public School when it was in the building where the little school is now, and that was before the Floodbrook Regional School District was formed in 1960. So I was just remembering that Sam Lloyd, it's nice to remember Sam, was telling me years ago that in the 50s they were looking for a principal for the school, and Rudolph Johnson had moved here. He was a retired admiral of the Pacific Fleet, and the word around town was, well, if he could manage the Pacific Fleet, he should be able to handle a bunch of kids. so he took the job. He did really well, and when they established this memorial fund in his memory. And Ron Crowley is now the trustee of that fund, and Nikki Pfister and Carrie Chalmers and I are also on the committee. So this year we have 5 kids who are graduating from the 8th grade at Floodbrook. This time, we've done different things over the years, but this year we're just going to read you their names so that we can acknowledge them and wish them all good luck. But later in the spring, closer to graduation, we'll celebrate and award them each a grant of $150 from the fund to further their education as they go off to high school. So this year the 5 kids are Luke Bonang, Gray Burry, Lily Falango, Liam Sherwood, and Gabby Spencer. So we say good luck to them and congratulations.
Just a couple of thoughts about the meeting itself. I'm going to go through the warning one article at a time. And what I will do is ask for a motion to put the article, and a second, to put the article on the floor. And then we will discuss that article, and I will ask for a voice vote. If there is an indistinguishable majority, I'll ask for people to stand up and see where we go from there. Anybody with 6 friends, 7 people, can ask for a secret ballot, a paper ballot, on any article at any time. So if you are concerned about wanting to see a ballot that is anonymous, where you vote simply yes or no, in the lobby, right? Yes?
Sure.
Then 7 people stand up and they can do that. Think about amendments. State law is very clear that you have to vote on what's in the warning. And so if an amendment would dramatically change that article, for example, the article says we want to put $10,000 into a fund for fire trucks. And the amendment is to take that $10,000 and put it in a fund for a swimming pool. That would be out of order, because it completely changes what the voters were warned about in the publication of the warning. Let's see what else I've got. Not much. One thing that is a tradition here, which is quite serious, is we remember the residents who have passed away during the previous year. So I'm going to ask you to stand, those who can, while I read their names. Michael A. Dunda, John Robert Hammond, Ann H. Deegan, Thomas A. Foster, Ernest J. Foster, Dean F. Goodwin. Let's just wait for a second, a moment of silence, and hold them in our memories, and may they rest in peace. Thank you. Please be seated. As you probably know, only registered voters in the town of Weston may vote, and only registered voters in the town may speak at this meeting, unless they're given permission by this meeting, which really means when people are identified as being from out of town and they want to talk, I will ask if there's any objections. One of the interesting factoids, I'm not quite sure what, I think it was in Addison County, when Madeline Kuhn was governor, and she asked to speak at a town meeting, she was rejected by a majority. So there is a precedent for that if you want to get nasty. I ask our guests who are here from out of town to rise. Oh boy, that's great. Welcome and thank you for coming. And if you, now that we've identified you, we know how good you are. The meeting of the Weston Town Meeting is open, and I'm going to read the warning. I'm sorry, I'm not going to read the warning unless there's objection, because the law says I'm supposed to, but we're not going to do that. The legal voters of the town of Weston, in the county of Windsor and the state of Vermont, are hereby notified and warned to meet at the Walker Farm in Weston, Vermont on Tuesday, the 3rd day of March 2026 at 9 in the forenoon to act on the following articles. And then Article 1, to elect a moderator for a one-year term. The town clerk will ask for that nomination.
Hi, are there any nominations for town moderator?
I nominate Barb Board, I nominate Wayne Grant.
One nomination for Wayne Brantus. Are there further nominations for moderator? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. The ayes have it. You have elected Wayne Brantus moderator.
Thank you. Article 2, to elect a town clerk for a one-year term. The office is currently held by Kim Seymour. Do I hear a nomination for town clerk?
I nominate Kim Seymour.
And your, state your name.
Deborah Granquist.
Thank you. Are there other nominations for town clerk? Hearing none, those in favor of Kim Seymour as the town clerk, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? You have elected Kim Seymour as town clerk. Article 3, to elect a town treasurer for a one-year term. The office is currently held by Kim Seymour. Are there nominations for town treasurer? Mr. White? Incidentally, nominations do not require a second. Kim Zimmer has been nominated. Are there other nominations for town treasurer? Hearing none, those in favor of Kim as town treasurer say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. You have elected Kim Seymour as your treasurer. Article 4, to elect the following town officers as required by law. I'm going to ask the nominees for a select board to stand and give us a 30-second resume or plan for what they're excited about. And there's no need for seconds, as I've said before. The nominations for one select board member to a 3-year term.
I nominate Denny Benson.
Mr. Benson has been nominated. Are there other nominations? Mr. Benson, you want to say a couple of words? I'd be surprised if you don't.
Well, I've been at it a long time, and sooner or later, I'm going to say no to this nomination. My wife would like me to do it right now, but there's two things going on that I want to stick around for, if possible. And while I got your attention, I'd like to explain where we got the budget from this year. We sat down as usual to do our budget, plugged in the numbers we thought we needed. Then at the second review, when the town clerk gave us the numbers, the highway budget went up 16%, town budget went up 18%. With the shock everybody got last spring from the reappraisal, knowing that the state was going to hit everybody with a 7% increase minimum on education this year, we decided to cut way back. We funded the payroll increase, put some money in the sand budget. As you know, we've used a lot of sand. And then we tried to level fund the rest of the budget. So wouldn't be staggering increases. Some items did not get level funded, but that's what we're trying to do. So bear it in mind when you vote on things. Thank you.
Are there other nominations for the 3-year term? Hearing none, select board members have to be chosen by paper ballot. So if there are no further nominations, I'll ask for a motion to declare nominations closed and to direct the clerk to cast one paper ballot for Dennis Benson. Is there such a motion?
So moved.
Mr.
Jim Linville.
Thank you, Mr. Linville. Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Mrs. Granquist, thank you. Those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. You have elected Dennis Benson. One select board member to a 2-year term. Are there nominations for a select board member to serve a 2-year term? If there are no nominations, I will declare the office vacant, and the select board then has the opportunity to appoint a person to the select board until the next town meeting. So if you're comfortable with that and you have no other nominations, then the office is vacant. Moving right along, one lister for a 3-year term. Are there nominations for lister?
Come on, the appraisal's over. Raise a hand.
You know, we're going to try something. We're going to try to do this without microphones. So you've got to bellow out as strong as it's got down here, okay? So try it again.
No.
We don't know who you're talking about. Who is your nomination for?
No, I just made a comment. Sorry to interrupt you.
Other nomination for a lister. Hearing none, we'll declare that office vacant as well. One library trustee to a 5-year term. Nominations for a trustee for the library.
Gary?
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see you, Karen.
I'd like to nominate Nikki Pfister.
We're trying this without a mic and name.
Nikki Pfister.
Nikki Pfister has been nominated for a 5-year term. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. Thank you so much. You have nominated a library trustee. One library trustee to a 5-year term. Another one. You're on this. You're on a roll.
I'd like to nominate Linda Samyuki.
Now, Linda has been nominated. Any other nominations for that 5-year term? Hearing none, those in favor of Linda Sarnoki for trustee of the library, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, say nay. As long as you're there, another library trustee for a 5-year term.
First, I'd like to thank Kieran McKenna for his service to the library and the town. And then I would like to nominate Nancy O'Connell for.
Nancy O'Connell has been nominated for library trustee for a 5-year term. No other nominations. Those in favor of Nancy say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? You have nominated Nancy O'Connell. If I've got my script right, there's one more trustee to be nominated. Deborah,
I'll do it, or Linda do it.
Oh,
I nominate Carrie Chalmers.
Carrie Chalmers has been nominated for a 5-year term. Any other nominations? Hearing none, we have elected Carrie Chalmers to a 5-year term as a trustee. And are you just going to wander?
I'm going to run the microphone for people because they can't.
Oh, I do great. During the special town meeting, Susanna Gellert, who is the executive artistic director of the theater company, ran around like crazy with the microphone so people could be heard. And here you are again.
I'll do it again. I can't talk, but I'll do it again.
One town constable to a 1-year term. The office currently held by Marissa Bolognese. Are the nominations for town constable?
My name is Deborah Twombly, and I nominate. I'm not appointing. Marissa Bolognese.
Marissa Bolognese has been nominated for town constable. Are there other nominations? Hearing none, those in favor of Marissa say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. You have elected Marissa Bolognese for town constable. One collector of delinquent taxes to a 1-year term. Nominations.
I nominate Gretchen Hauser.
I nominate Gretchen Hauser.
Gretchen Hauser has been nominated as collector of delinquent taxes. Are there other nominations? Those in favor of Gretchen say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. Thank you very much. One, you've elected Gretchen Hauser as collector of delinquent taxes. One cemetery commissioner for a 5-year term. Are there nominations for cemetery commissioner?
I nominate Dick Lechthauer.
Dick Lechthauer has been nominated. Are there other nominations? Those in favor of Dick Lechthauer for cemetery commissioner say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. You have elected Richard Lechthauer as a cemetery commissioner. Article 5. To see if the town will authorize payment of $234,702 plus 2% interest over 4 years, 2026 to 2029, from the Highway Fund to the Special Projects Fund for the purpose of repayment of funds expensed by the Special Project Fund to purchase land at 1047 Route 100 for highway purposes. And that is included in the highway budget. A motion to put that on the floor. Barbara Lloyd has moved it. Is there a second?
Second.
Deborah Grandis has seconded. Discussion of the article. Questions, comments? Mrs. Straw?
Does this cover, the firehouse? Is that
Can
what
you
this
just wait a
purchase
second,
is
Sue?
about? I can make it
We didn't hear you.
here. Does this cover the firehouse? It's a different matter, it's a different plot of land.
Sid, we don't know what you're saying.
That's nothing new, is it, Wayne?
The question is, does it cover the firehouse? And someone from the fire company? Wait for the mic.
That's a question the fire department would like to know, that if they're gonna, the town's gonna give us a portion of that land to build a new firehouse on, or what their idea is about the whole 17 acres. And we're up in the air, we've been up in the air for a couple of years for a firehouse. We talked about flood mitigation, and the new flood plan is, it'll only flood 2 to 3 feet in the firehouse now, tearing the dam down and anything else they do. So we need to move, and it would be nice if the selectmen would give us a hint what direction they feel about some of that property going to the fire department.
We bought the land, and we're gonna have an engineer come in. We've got several things that we wanna do, and they're gonna look at the land and tell us where to put things. And yes, the fire department is part of it, but we're looking for a spot to put our supply of gravel to use for an emergency in a flood. We may move the sand pile over there. We may put a building up there for excess equipment. We're gonna get it laid out by a professional, so we just don't go in until this year, that there. And there's 17 acres, and we will get it figured out eventually, but it's not gonna happen overnight.
Other questions about Article 5? You are ready for the vote? Those in favor of Article 5, to see if the town will authorize payment of $234,702 plus 2% interest over 4 years from the Highway Fund to the Special Projects Fund for the purpose of repayment of funds expensed by the Special Project Fund to purchase land at 1047 Route 100 for highway purposes. Those in favor of that article say aye. Aye. Those opposed to the article say nay.
Nay.
The ayes have it, and you have approved Article 5. Article 6, to see if the town will authorize continued participation for 3 years in the Mountain Towns Recreation Program, not to exceed $11,500 annually, included in the town budget. Will someone move the article, please? Vicki Pfister has moved the article, and a second is from Deborah Grandis. Thank you. Is there discussion on the article? Article 6. I will repeat the article to see if the town will authorize continued participation for 3 years in the Mountain Towns Recreation Program, not to exceed $11,500 annually. You are ready for the vote.
I'd like to ask a question.
Mr. Freeman?
I'd like to know what the progress has been.
I know you're thinking.
I'd like to know what the progress has been since we voted on this the last time, how effective it has been. Has Weston been well represented? Have the students and others in the community benefited?
The director is here.
Hi everybody, Liam Elio, if we haven't met yet. First off, thank you all for participating in this. This would be about 2.5 years that I've actually been in the position, and the contract comes up at the end of June. That would be the 3-year contract. So I'll try to keep it somewhat quick, but the position, for those who aren't terribly familiar, was a conglomeration of several tasks. Taking over administrative responsibilities from Floodbrook Athletic Association, which is your youth sports for baseball, softball, and basketball, and taking over administrative duties for West River Sports, which is your youth soccer and Nordic program. Those being established programs, as well as the Londonderry Parks is also worked into the position, and I can break down those percentages if you'd like. Those were the existing programs. In the last 3 years, apart from maintaining those and hopefully making them a little bit better, we can see our youth is, we've had over 70 Weston participants in just the last year. And we've just been working on expanding that kind of the third aspect, which is the recreation at large. And that's kind of based around all 5 towns. And we've seen, because I am only one person, and we've also discussed, I was told when this position is passed, we're not supposed to be coming back asking for funding, so I will not be doing that. So you can see me sorting some bottles and cans at the transfer station. Please feel free to bring your bottles and cans and donate them. That is a bit of our budget. But because of that, I've been working with groups that have already existed or folks that have great ideas that are willing to help support them, because I can't run them all myself. So worked with the ice rink group in Londonderry, and if you've seen that, we've shifted that, got some donations, opened up a great public space there, put up some lights. So hopefully you all have had the experience down there for this very cold winter. We started a Mountain Towns Trails Committee, so once a month we've got anybody, you're all welcome to join, and all as well as we've got heads from whether that's Nordic skiing, hiking trails, we've got ski mountains represented, uphill communities, anybody who's trail-based, and they're all working together now to help each other and support each other's programs, non-biking as well. The Music Monday is going on through the parks, continues to thrive. We actually we might be here if we have rain this year, because another aspect is starting to get involved with the Londonderry Town Hall renovation. That's a great opportunity to get eventually a 4-season indoor space for community events, and there's some MERV grant money that will expire at the end of the year. So I'm participating with them to make sure that we can get a fully insulated and functional year-round space, whether that's movie nights or dances or whatever community events you hope to host. I can go on and on about this, and I'm happy to. Feel free. One thing I'd like to direct you to is on page 75. You'll see the little report that I wrote up. There's a few QR codes if you participate with that technology. Otherwise, you can go to the website, which is Mountain Towns, with an S, mountaintownsrecreation.org. That left side QR code will get you to our website, where you'll see whether that's where folks will register their youth. You can also check out other pickup sports that will be going on throughout the year. And new additions to that would be the recreation map that you get directly taken to, which is a resource we're building, as well as a group community calendar, where we're starting to be able to feature a lot of other entities' calendars on one space, so you can have a hub of recreation to go look at.
Thank you very much.
Yep, thank you.
Any other comments or questions or discussion on Article 6? You are ready for the vote on Article 6 to see if the town will authorize continued participation for 3 years in the Mountain Towns Recreation Program not to exceed $11,500 annually. Those in favor of Article 6 say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. You have adopted Article 6. Article 7, to see if the town will appropriate $4,000 for the Town Annex Paint Reserve Fund, included in the town budget. The Town Annex, as you may or may not know, is where the little school is. Will someone move the article?
So moved.
So move, and
Christine Palengo. I didn't see who moved it.
Christine Palengo.
And who was the second?
Second yet?
Second.
Katie is seconded. Questions or comments on the town annex paint reserve fund? Hearing none, those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. You've adopted Article 7. Article 8, to see if the town will appropriate $4,000 for the town annex building maintenance fund, which is included in the town budget. A motion to put that on the floor.
So moved. Christine Palengo.
Second.
Second?
Gretchen Hauser.
Didn't catch it.
Gretchen Hauser.
Okay. Discussion or questions about the town annex building maintenance fund? Hearing none, you are ready for the vote to see if the town will appropriate $4,000 for the town annex building maintenance fund, included in the town budget. Those in favor of that fund, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. You have adopted Article 8. Article 9, to see if the town will appropriate $140,000 for the highway equipment replacement reserve fund, included in the highway budget. The status of that fund is on page 12 of the town report, with a year-end balance of $135,000 Is there a motion to put on the floor? Mr. Freeman, and second, Edward Rehnquist. Discussion on Article 9. If there is none, you are ready for the vote. Those in favor of Article 9, to see if the town will appropriate $140,000 for the highway equipment replacement reserve fund. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. You have adopted Article 9. Article 10, to see if the town will appropriate $75,000 for the highway maintenance fund. It's included in the town budget, and that fund is at page 12, and it has a year-end balance of $167,596.17. A motion to put Article 10 on the floor. Nikki Pfister has moved the article. Second? Mr. Hoyt has seconded. Discussion on Article 10. Hearing none, Article 10, to see if the town will appropriate $75,000 for the highway maintenance fund, including the town budget. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. You have adopted Article 10. Article 11, to see if the town will appropriate $40,000 for the fire apparatus fund, including the town budget. The fund is at page 12, and the balance in that fire apparatus fund is $316,757.57. Will someone move the article, please?
So moved.
Mr. Freeman has moved it, and is there a second? I heard it someplace.
Was that a correct second?
Questions or discussions on the $40,000 for the fire apparatus fund? Hearing none, you are ready for the vote. Those in favor of Article 11, to see if the town will appropriate $40,000 for the fire apparatus fund. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. You have adopted Article 11. Article 12, to see if the town will appropriate $3,000 to the Space Planning, Management, and Maintenance Fund, which is in the town budget. And the year-end status of that fund is on page 13, showing a year-end balance of $15,172.89. Someone please move the article.
So moved.
Can you-
Jim Linville, so moved.
Thank you. Second? Thank you. Second. Discussion on the $3,000 for the space planning, maintenance, and maintenance fund.
What is that
exactly is it?
Nikki has a question. She's about to get a microphone.
Nikki Pfister, what exactly is that used for?
Select board?
Maintenance to the building, like, last year we put in a new furnace downstairs, and if you look closely when you go in the town office, the doorway frame really needs to be replaced. We've talked about it, maybe this year will happen, we hope, but as you know, that type of construction's not cheap.
Thank you, Dan.
Other questions about the SPAC fund? Hearing none, you are ready for the vote. To see if the town will appropriate $3,000 to the Space Planning Maintenance and Management and Maintenance Fund. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. You have adopted Article 12. Article 13, to see if the town will appropriate $40,000 for the Bridge Repair Fund. The year-end status of that fund is $792,292.15. Will someone move the article? Mr. White has moved the article. Is there a second?
Second. Linda Sardi.
Linda, thank you. Discussion on the Bridge Repair Fund appropriation. Yeah, Mr. Harper.
Yeah, this is,
And
there
can
we
you
have,
hold on.
Oh. I needed the microphone. This is, we have 16 sinking funds listed on 2 pages in all these articles. And we put all this money in the bank, supposedly. We earn interest on it. I wonder if the selectmen can tell us what the rate of return of interest is on all those sinking funds.
We earn between 2 and 3%. It is calculated monthly and attributed to each of the funds as we go throughout the year. There could be potential for other ways to invest it, but it's money that we often need access to and rather quickly. And so we've chosen to keep it in essentially a money market.
Other questions? Mr. Harper, you want to follow up?
Sorry.
It seems like a rather low rate of return. Have you explored other investments?
Let me try to answer that quickly since Andrew, as you probably know, you cannot invest in equities or anything but a guaranteed investment. And so you're limited to money markets and checking accounts, basically. Okay, so here we go. Are there other questions on the $40,000 for the bridge repair fund?
Robert Sudmeyer. I have a related question. Just once a special fund is established, how do funds? I see there are many times it refers to due from other funds or due to other funds. I'm just curious how funds get transferred and who has to authorize it. If someone could just briefly.
Mr. Linville?
Or Jenny? One. Hand it over here.
Yeah, good question. And just to back up a little bit, one of the other uses of these funds, the cash balances we have in town, is that ordinarily towns spend money up until October when the taxes are due. So they run ordinarily big deficits and have to borrow from banks. So we're in a position of being able to borrow from ourselves at a lending rate rather than a fixed interest rate. So that net would increase the return from those money market fund returns to more like a borrowing return. Small thing. So, and these reserve funds are set up based on depreciation schedules that we've, take a guess at. And all of a sudden, for instance, in a highway equipment fund, a piece of, a truck just wears out, or a fire truck becomes obsolete, and we have to, we have to draw down the fund maybe past zero. So we're in the habit, we can borrow from one fund to finance a sort of a dip below the depreciation rate, and then build those funds back over time just to even them out. Because when you try to calculate depreciation funds, you're just making a guess, and we try to keep up with the annual depreciation, but sometimes those funds dip below zero. And all of this has been passed by our auditors, and they're all comfortable with it. Does that answer your question?
So the selectmen then authorize the transfer?
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct.
Thank you.
And you could see in Article 5 that was the transfer from the highway fund to the special projects fund. At times we ask the town to vote on it as well, but for the most part the select board makes that decision.
Other questions or concerns? Hearing none, you are ready to vote for Article 13, for or against Article 13, to see if the town will appropriate $40,000 for the bridge repair fund. Will someone, the article has been moved and you're ready for a vote. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. You have approved Article 13. Article 14, to see if the town will appropriate $30,000 for the Weston Memorial Library Capital Fund, including the town budget. Will someone move the article, please? Mr. Freeman has moved the article. Is there a second? Ms. Fisher has seconded the article. The year-end balance of that fund is at page 13, and it shows a zero balance. Discussions or questions about the Weston Memorial Library Capital Fund? Mr. Johnson, hold on.
When is the construction expected to be completed for the new library?
I'll ask the chair of the library board to answer that.
Thank you very much. I think we're going to be looking around sometime in May. That will be the construction completed on the building, and then there will be driveways and landscaping and things like that. Oh, and painting outside once it's warm enough to paint.
So effectively, when will we be able to use the library?
Sometime in May or June, but we're in the old parish church right now, so you're welcome to come there anytime.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions? To see if the town will appropriate $30,000 for the Weston.
Wayne, can I just ask, will there be parking at the new improved library?
Yes.
Yes.
Where? Let me help you since I have something to do with this. Well, there will be 7 or 8 parking spaces, including ADA parking and ADA accessibility in the building.
Good to know, thank you.
Okay, thank you. The question is on Article 14. To see if the town will appropriate $30,000 for the Weston Memorial Capital Fund. Hearing no more questions, you are waiting for the vote. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. You have adopted Article 14. Article 15, to see if the town will appropriate the following sums totaling $162,451 to the following organizations that included financial information with their requests. Will someone move the article? Mr. White has moved it. Is there a second? Mr. Grant has seconded. The article is on the page 4, if you remember, of the report. And it has a table with 4 columns of numbers showing the amounts that were requested in 2025, approved for 2025, actually requested by the organization for 2026, and the last column is the 2026 budget request. What I'm going to do is I'm going to read the list of organizations, the amounts that are listed in the budget request column, and the page in the town report for the organizations. No, I'm not going to do that. And I'm going to read the list slowly and pause after each amount to allow for questions or amendments to be proposed. Anyone who wants to ask a question about that appropriation or propose an amendment to it will rise and ask that question or propose the amendment. If anyone wants to propose changing the amount, they can move to do so if it's a reasonable amount and doesn't change the intent of the article dramatically. And there's a second. We will vote to accept or reject the amendment and then move on to the next item on the list. So I'm moving to Article 15 on page 4. And I'm going to read these appropriation requests slowly. Weston Cemetery Commission. Budget request is $15,000. Cold Spring Park, Weston Community Association, $7,000. The Farrar Park Association, $10,500. The Recreation Club, $13,000. The Volunteer Fire Department, $51,000. The Wiley Memorial Library, $35,000. GNAT-TV, $3,132. Green Up Vermont, $50. Healthcare and Rehabilitation Services, $630. The Londonderry Rescue Squad, $5,250. Mover, the formerly Southeast Transit and the current, $350. North Star Health for the Mountain Valley Health Clinic, $2,500. My Community Nurse Project, $3,500. Neighborhood Connections, $6,000. Senior Solutions, $1,850. SEVCA, Southeastern Vermont Community Association, $640. The Collaborative, $1,250.
Sevens?
The question?
Sevens, you missed sevens.
I did indeed. Sevets, $1,869. I've got it right now. And the collaborative we just did, Vermont Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired, $100. Vermont Center for Independent Living, $230. Visiting Nurse Hospice for Vermont and New Hampshire, $2,500. Windsor County Youth Services, $600. The Women's Freedom Center, $500. Beautiful. not amended any of those amounts, so I will ask you to approve Article 15, which is to see if the town will appropriate the following sums totaling $162,451 to the organizations that included financial information of the request. You are ready for the vote? Those in favor say aye. Aye. Is there a question? I'm sorry? Those opposed say nay. You have adopted Article 15. Article 16, to see if the town will set the annual salary for the town treasurer at $31,553 for the calendar year January 1, 2026 to December 31, 2026. It's in the budget. Will someone move the article, please?
So moved.
Who was it?
Katie.
Katie moved the article. Who's the second?
Second.
Mr. Lindell seconds. Are you ready for the vote? You are, and the question is on Article 16. To see if the town will set the annual salary for the town treasurer at $31,553 for the calendar year January 1, 2026 through December 31, 2026. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. You have adopted Article 16. Article 17, to see if the town will set the annual salary for the town clerk at $24,149 for the calendar year January 1, 2026 through December 31, 2026. A motion to put the article on the floor.
So moved. Katie Fitzpatrick.
Katie is the second. Gretchen Hauser is seconded. Any discussion on the article? Hearing none, the question is on Article 17. To see if the town will set the annual salary for the town clerk at $24,149 for the calendar year January 1, 2026 through December 31, 2026. You are ready for the vote. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. You have adopted Article 17. Article 18, to see if the town will set the annual compensation for the select board at $2,500 each for the calendar year January 1, 2026 through December 31, 2026. It's included in the budget. A motion to move the article. Malcolm Hamlet has moved the article. Is there a second? Okay, thank you. Any questions about the article? About the select board? Hearing none, you are ready for the vote to set the annual compensation for the select board at $2,500 each for the calendar year 2026, January 1, 2026 through December 31, 2026. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. Article 19, to see if the town will pay its taxes to the town treasurer as provided by law, the due date to be on or before the first Friday of October, which is October 2nd, 2026. Someone move the article.
So moved. Linda Sargenti.
And there is a second.
Second.
Third
Katie
and
Fitzpatrick.
seconded. Questions about the taxes, which cannot escape. You are ready for the vote, Article 19, to see if the town will pay its taxes to the town treasurer as provided by law on or before the first Friday of October. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. You have adopted Article 19. Article 20. To see if the town will authorize a total general fund expenditure for operating expenses of $804,224, of which $580,216 shall be raised by taxes and $224,008 by non-tax revenues. A motion to put the article on the floor.
So moved. Linda Sargenti.
Ms. Hudioki has moved and Barbara Lloyd has seconded. Discussion on the general fund expenditure. Those, again, are you ready for the votes? Article 20, to see if the town will authorize a total general fund expenditure for operating expenses of $804,224, of which $580,216 shall be raised by taxes and $224,008 by non-tax revenues. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. Article 21, to see if the town will authorize a total highway fund expenditure for operating expenses of $1,268,848, of which $1,228,662 shall be raised by taxes, $98,040 by non-tax revenues, and offset by a surplus of $42,140. A motion to put the article on the floor.
So moved. Jim Linville.
Jim Linville, second.
Second, Katie Fitzgerald.
Katie is seconded. Discussion on Article 21.
Hello? Where does the money go? Where does the money go when Granny quits?
The question is, where does the money go? Pretty straightforward question, I want to say.
It's all being spent on your road.
I'll take that personally, Andrew.
We're going to try to answer your question.
The money goes for everything we just approved.
Any other questions? Hearing none, those in favor of Article 21, to see if the town will authorize a total highway fund expenditure for operating expenses of $1,268,848, of which $1,128,662 shall be raised by taxes, $98,000 by non-tax revenue, and offset by a surplus of $42,147. Those in favor of the article say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Hearing none, you have adopted Article 22. Article 21. Article 22, to transact any other non-binding business properly come before us at a meeting not acted upon in the preceding articles. No, there's no binding action you can take here, but I know there are several folks who would like to talk about something of useful information for the town voters. And I believe the fire department is in that situation. Who would like to speak for the fire department? I'm sorry, I'm reminded that I haven't moved the article. Those in favor of Article 22 say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. You've adopted Article 22 and the fire department has the floor.
Thank you, Mike. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Brian Lundberg. I'm the current fire chief in town. And normally when our budget gets put into the warning, the town report, there's usually a note that goes along with it. That didn't happen this year, so we have a few words put together just to advise the town. On behalf of the Weston Volunteer Fire Department, we'd like to thank everybody for your continued support, your generosity during our annual appeal. It is very much appreciated.
Brian, keep it.
Sorry. As you're all aware, especially those of us that were at the earlier town meeting, the special town meeting, dependence upon reliable water sources for the fire department is paramount. Due to last summer's drought, our efforts to check all the dry hydrants in town were seriously hampered. But with warmer weather coming shortly, hopefully, and the hardy snow melt, we aim to assess each hydrant and offer homeowners guidelines for upkeep and maintenance. It is the responsibility of the homeowner to keep those units maintained so that we can get an adequate water supply when necessary. And part of that maintenance, just to make everybody aware, that at this time of year, is keeping them accessible. If we have to take 20 or 30 minutes to locate and gain access to a hydrant in the area, that's a long time when it comes to trying to help the homeowner who's absolutely having the worst day of their life. It is, again, an opportunity for us to request that everybody have their locatable address numbers out. A minimum of a 4-inch high number is requested. A separate background, I mean, putting a silver number on a gray tree is not going to be very effective. You need something, you know, preferably colorful, because black and white is not great, especially in the wintertime. A little bit of snow gets on it, we still can't see the numbers. Reflective is also preferred if it's possible. To get those numbers out where we can see them from the road is very much appreciated on our end. And when the time comes that you need our services or the services of an ambulance, it's going to be very much appreciated on your end as well. Our community risk reduction initiative has been very successful so far. We will be continuing to install smoke detectors free of charge and offer recommendations to make your home safer. You can call the fire station and leave a message. The number there is 802-824-3539, and we can schedule an appointment with you and go over things. And the last and a very important note is we need bodies. We need volunteers. Our group is at the point of, I won't say aging out, but for lack of a better word, that's almost it. If we don't start getting some younger people interested, the fire truck's going to pull up when somebody calls for help. The door's going to swing open, and the first thing that's going to come out is one of the walkers with the tennis balls on the bottom of it. And it sounds funny, but it's scary. So, and the last thing that I will point out is that we are currently working on a junior program. So for kids of high school age, 14 to 18, anyone that's interested is welcome to join up once we get the program initiated. And for, I don't know about all high schools, but I do know that some require so many hours of community service in order to graduate, and this would fall under that category of community service. So the student can get their hours, learn some different things, and hopefully retain the interest in the fire department and continue with it once they graduate. And thank you, and Lee is...
Just in here, our meeting night is second and first Monday, we changed it to our first Thursdays.
Oh, that's right. In the town report, it states that our meeting nights are the first Thursday of each month. That has been changed to the second Thursday of each month. So if anybody's interested, that's the night to show up.
Any questions or comments for Brian? Thank you.
Volunteers, now, stand up.
Yeah, we'll take names.
Other comments or questions?
Wait.
Yes?
Figured. Hi. I just wanted to say thank you to the Western Volunteer Fire Department for everything that they do. And it's been really great getting to meet you in the past year. So thank you.
Other items for information under Article 22?
Wait.
Mr. White? Paul?
I would like to thank you all for your support of my community nurse project. I hope you don't need Virginia's service, but in the last year, she's made contact with just under 1,000 people in the 7 towns up here. She does an invaluable service of helping people ferret through the medical maze that we're in right now. And she'll advocate for you. Sometimes she'll call the ambulance for you. But it's a great service, and we appreciate your support. Thank you.
Other items of interest?
Wait. Oh.
Hi, I'm Laura Katz. I want to thank the fire department and Regina.
Laura.
Am I not speaking? Yes, now? Ooh, okay, clearly haven't done this before. I am here as a representative of Weston popupuniversity.org, and we are a grassroots organization. We offer free classes on a wide variety of topics, all taught by talented local people. The fire department actually had a session on, I can see this, on the 29th from 1:30 to 3. We've got a number of offerings we have. The classes are free, and it's been offered now for 6 years. So if you want to learn about the science of waves or how to make focaccia, things that will just get us through the ugly month of March, please register. Again, it's westonpopupuniversity.org, and there's a link for Eventbrite. Super easy to register, and once you do that, you'll get reminders about your classes, and I hope to see you all at a class. Thank you.
Other items of interest? Someone over here.
Yeah, that would be me.
So I want to just quickly follow up on our February 14th special meeting, which I thought was wonderful. Thank you to Wayne Granquist for moderating it, and I think Norman Rockwell was smiling from the clouds during that meeting. It was great. But I just want to make sure that everybody understands that at that meeting, what you all approved was to have the select board continue with the approval or the acceptance process for the grant. A lot of people have come up to me and said, well, you know, what are you going to do with the $3 million that are sitting in your bank account right now? And the answer is, we don't have $3 million sitting in our bank account, and won't probably until September or so. There are lots of hurdles to go over and hoops to go through to get the approval, including an environmental review and some archaeological reviews and a bunch of permitting, and probably, I think best case, we'll be ready to start with the hard work and the engineering studies, et cetera, in September. So just want to make that clear, and thank you all.
Just to put a footnote on that, as you know, the special meeting dealt with taking down the dam and replacing the bridge on Lawrence Hill Road. The vote was positive, and that authorized the select board to go forward and apply for the award. And as Jim said, there will be a lot of requirements before we get that money. The other thing Jim didn't mention was the select board is appointing a committee to advise the select board on the design of the project, including particularly the bridge, which is defined in the application that we sent to the state and which they approved as a pony truss bridge, which is one where the trusses are above the roadway. And there has been some concern expressed about access to the library because of that bridge and raising the roadway over the bridge. So there is a design committee that's being created to advise the select board and the engineering situation, the engineering activity on that, so that the concerns about access to either the town office side or the library side when you raise that bridge will be addressed. So that's just a footnote to what Jim was saying.
Exactly.
Any other items of interest? Bill Fritzinger.
I'd like to go back to my community nurse project. Sitting next to me is Kathy Schuster. I'd like to introduce her to you as Regina's helper.
I've really enjoyed my experience here. I've been with Regina working for the last 4 to 5 years. And I think the greatest thing that I've experienced is the wonderful partnership with so many people sitting here, their organizations, and the support they've given to individuals right in your community. It is a great gift, and it's so gracious and kind of each and every one of you. Thank you.
Other items of interest? Malcolm, you're pointing someplace, so there you go. Yeah.
Jim, can you just clarify something from that meeting with on February 14th? When we voted, I was under the understanding, and I might be 100% wrong on what I took, was that it was a vote to move it to the next level where we would hold on to the possibility of having the grant, with the understanding that when more information came forward, that it may not be suitable for the town and we would have a say in that. Or did I misunderstand something completely?
Yeah, I think that's right. I think but having said that, I think the suitability issue is really centered on being able to produce a design for the bridge that works. I think there are fewer issues about the dam removal. And as you know, the dam is not owned by the town, it's owned by the community association, and their board has already moved to approve and move forward with removing the dam. Now, to your questions and Lee's questions before about availability of water, the specifications for the dam removal are very clear about making the dry hydrant by the Lawrence Hill Road Bridge and the dry hydrant by the mill yard and the availability of water at the now fire department building to basically perfect those, make them work, design the work in a sequential form so that you guys are never without water from, you know, one of those places. Obviously, there are going to be a couple of hours or maybe days during the construction that you know, you might not have water at a particular location, but there will be water available continuously. Yeah. Sorry, Leo, go ahead.
Just one more thing, it was one of the questions was the amount of funding and $3 million. And then, and again, this is what I remember, if all of a sudden the price skyrocketed over, then we would have and it turned out to be something that the taxpayers have to put the bill on beyond the $3 million, that we could, I don't know, scale back or would just clarify that for.
Yeah, as you, just to be clear, the grant was for just about the grant request, excuse me, was for about 3.7 million, just a little bit less than that. And the grant was for 3 million. And one of the conditions of accepting the grant is that the town guarantees to make available the shortfall of just $670,000. So, but to get to the second half of your question, if the price of the project goes beyond or above the, let's call it, for sake of brevity, the hell with brevity, 3.7 million, then we're going to go back to the town for approval of that number. That will either happen at a town meeting, an annual town meeting, or a special town meeting. Are you good, Leo? Yeah. Okay. I mean, I know you're good, but yeah.
Leo, just a footnote to Jim. The special meeting approved that the town will provide $670,000 to supplement the $3 million. And the select board is looking at options to do that, which there are three as I understand it. One is a bond issue, another is a loan from a bank, and the third is to use money in those special funds to supplement the $3 million.
I just want to go back to the...
Hold on. I know you're thinking.
I just want to go back to the water situation a little bit, and the flooding mitigation. We're only looking at a few buildings and houses that are covered by the flood. If we look at I don't know how many houses we have in town, but every one of those is susceptible to fire and not susceptible to flood. You've got to remember, as I said before, water, water, water. And you have to clear out your ponds and do the job. And just remember, everybody's house here is susceptible to fire and maybe not a flood.
Other comments? If there are none, I am going to declare the meeting adjourned. Thank you very much.